Hi, my name is Claire Phillips, and I am going to talk about my outline that I wrote for my short little memoir. The example I chose to talk about is the time that I met my birth mom for the very first time. I'm adopted. So, May of 1996, I was born. In the early morning, my parents said it was thundering and lightning and that the world was getting ready for the fabulous me that I am. So it was chaos. And it was really early, and my mom got a phone call, and she quickly drove up to Newark, hopped on a plane, and flew to Erie. There, she met my birth mom, which was probably the second or third time they met, and I was shortly born and placed into the arms of my mom. She said in that moment that she looked down at me and was so happy to have a girl, so happy to have me in her life, and said, "I'm so sorry, but you have a mom. You have a chop chop mom, and I gotta make a phone call." So she gets on the phone. She calls everyone to tell her that her daughter Claire was born and that I am brought into the world. Fast forward 15 years later, I decide that I want to meet my birth mom for the very first time. Growing up, I always had a great association of happiness and adoption. It has always been a wonderful concept, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for being adopted and for the adoption process in general. So I'm very thankful. And I know how hard it was, or I don't know, but I can imagine how hard it was for my birth mom to carry me for 9 months in her belly, take all the energy, get me out of there, hold me for a little bit, and then pass me off to another mom and another dad. So I know that must be difficult for I know that must be difficult for her, but she did it, and she gave me a wonderful life, and I have amazing parents. So back to when I was 15, I wanted to go, so I asked my parents, and they were amazing about it. And they're like, "Of course you can meet your birth mom. Like, your brother met his birth mom 3 years ago. This is your chance." So they started getting in contact with lawyers to get through the legal process because it was originally closed, and then they went and kind of just started looking and trying to find out if they could maybe find him on their own. My mom went on Facebook and actually found my older sister, who is 23. She was 3 when I was born, and my mom had kept her but was going through school and, working, getting a job, so she couldn't keep me as well. And my birth mom messaged her and was like, "Hi, like, I don't know the details, just like basically, hi, like, I'm sorry to bother you, but is your mother Tanya Seidel?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can I have her number?" So they get in contact, and it's okayed with the lawyers, and then Tanya, my birth mother, and we speak on the phone for the very first time when I was 15. And that was incredible. I bawled my eyes out because, it's like, although this isn't my mom, the woman who raised me, this is still like my mother in a way. So there was an automatic connection already. So we got to know each other a little bit more on the phone talks, and then we also sent back pictures back and forth of, like, we mailed pictures and albums and stuff so she could see how I kind of grew up. And then we decided on a date where we would meet. So my dad took off work, my mom took off work, and we went up for an entire weekend, and we drove 7 hours in a car um, up to Erie, heading towards their house. And it was weird. I mean, it was a long drive. My mom drove. My dad and my brother were sitting in the back seat, and I was up front with my mom because I get car sick. And she was asking me, she's like, "Are you nervous? Like, what are you feeling? Like, what's going through your mind right now?" And it was weird because I had 7 hours to contemplate what would happen. What would that first initial meeting be like? But at the same time, I was like, I can't predict it. It's not something I can predict. But I was just really excited and really happy. And I knew I had 3 siblings from my mom. I had an older sister who was half my half sibling. And then she had gotten married and had 2 beautiful little babies who would then be 12 and 9 at the time. My younger sister Madison and my younger brother Trey. And so we pull up to the house, park in the driveway. It's like probably 8 o'clock right now. It's like dark out. And my mom and my dad look at me and they're like, "All right, well, we're here. Like, are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And they were like, "Well, how do you want us to walk up with you? Like, how do you want this?" So I was like, "You know what? Like, how about Luke walks up with me and then you guys come behind us in like a sec or a minute or so. And they said, okay. So my brother and I get out of the car, and he grabs my hand, and we start walking up the pathway to the door, and I ring the doorbell, and the door opens, and it's her. I don't even get a good look at her before she jumps on me and gives me a big hug, like, and she gives me a big hug and then pulls away and then looks at me and hugs me and again, and we both just start crying. And it was just like a wave of emotions, like you couldn't even, and it was happy tears, of course, but like you just couldn't stop them. And then behind her was her husband Ron, and then my parents came up, and everyone just hugging everyone and meeting everyone. And then I look over in the corner, and I see my two siblings kind of hiding behind the door because like, they're a little scared, but they're a little not scared, like because I'm their sister, but they don't really know me. They don't know me at all. They know of me, and it was amazing. I got to meet my family, and we spent a whole weekend up in Erie, and it was incredible. I met my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my grandparents, my great grandparents. Like my mom was only 20 years older than me, 19 really, and then her mom is only 20 years older than her. So like the generations span because they're such short distances. But it was really incredible, and I'm really thankful for the opportunities that I've had with my family, and that they have been so amazing and let me really get to know my birth family. And now that I'm 21, it's what, 5, 6 years later, I have such a close relationship with my birth mom, my mom, my half siblings, my brother Luke. Like we're all one close happy family, and for a lot of people it's hard for them to understand that because they're afraid of jealousy. But what my both my mom says, you can never have too much love. And yeah, so that's my little story. I hope you enjoyed it, and it's definitely something I love to think about. Thank you.